There's a lot of people that just want to make sound and they're not concerned about playing, you know, some melody or some song or whatever. Well, with Chamber of Sounds, it's been 3 years now. Like in December, it'll be 3 years. But I've been around electronics my whole life because my dad had like electronic stores and he used to sell radios and stuff. So he'd bring home the stuff that was broken and I would just like cannibalize it and make my own amplifiers and stuff. One of the first things I modified is this Sinair drum synth from the late 70s, early 80s. And this is what the Jupiter is based on. I didn't know what I was doing, so I just attached wires to these, which was a drum mount for these screws, and that became the touch sensitivity that's on the Jupiter T. And this has a photocell in it as well. This thing is really strange. This is like the first thing that I didn't modify and I built from scratch, and it's called the Probe, because of the little metal probes that are on it. But this is kind of the sounds you'll get from it. It's like Pac-Man. It's a cool unit, but I think it's so like out of control that people wouldn't really know what to do with it. So this is one of the first things I built, and it's just like a phrase recorder. And I got the parts at Radio Shack, and basically you just press the button and say anything, and it'll play it back. It sounds good for like Mr. T, like, I pity the fool. I was modifying stuff that I was finding over at the Chicago store. I would find all this surplus gear, and then I would build synthesizers into those or modify them. This whole area was just redone in the last year, but it used to be all the old furnishings from JCPenney from the turn of the last century. And now it looks a little more modernized and everything's exposed, so there's not as much to find like in the little crevices and stuff. But I'll take you upstairs so you can see what's going on. So this is one level where they moved a lot of the semi-working stuff, and every once in a while they'll have a sale here and get rid of a lot of this stuff. But the really cool stuff is up in the other areas. Basically, this is like the area where I've gotten a lot of cool stuff that I've worked on, and it consists of digging through all these boxes. You can see there's like old pedals that could be taken apart, old wah. This is probably from the 90s. Brand new in the box. Like these Conn multividers, these are old octave boxes for saxophones. I've modified these so you could use them for guitar. Doesn't really need much. It's all there. Like you get this for like 15 bucks. You could modify it. Here's another multivider. They're seriously like cockroaches here. They're everywhere. Like this is the first guitar synth, and like Jimi Hendrix had one, and it has all kinds of weird sounds on it, like sitar. Mm-hmm. But just like the colors of this would inspire like designs and just the look of things. I get inspired by like this old like 60s gear and 50s gear. What I go for is like kind of more like analog low tech as opposed to like really high tech with like tons of different things on it. It's like something that you could see Spock playing, you know?
Ready.
It became this thing where I was modifying these little objects and then I was actually selling them. So I figured why not try to make like a production model of it where I could always have the parts on hand as opposed to trying to find cool old boxes because they're hard to come by. This is the newest product we make, the Dronulator, and it's a 3-oscillator synthesizer that's handheld. You have 3 separate oscillators that feed each other with different combinations of the switches. And then you have a push button and a volume control. Chamber of Sound started out as this room as a recording studio, but then I got to messing around with a lot of equipment and fixing up stuff and then building stuff from there. So it's become a synthesizer effects company. Like now people really like the stuff, but you know, 2 years from now, who knows what people will be into. You know, whether I'm doing it or someone else is doing it, I think in the future more and more people are gonna play instruments like this as opposed to like guitars and keyboards. I think people are gonna go for like handheld instruments. So whether I'm in the forefront making the instruments or if someone else is making it, I think in the future that's the way it'll be.